Hello, and we're live. Hi, everybody. Terry Lee, Pure Visionary Psychic here with one of my favorite guests, Miss Susan Lynn. Hi, Susan. Welcome.
Thank you. Every time I go on a show like yours where you have this beautiful intro, I'm like, am I on TV? Is this
It,
what it would be like to be on TV? You know,
it helps get in the
you
groove
guys
of
really do it
the
right. I'm telling you. I'm just like, and here we are. Let's get
song. Well,
love it.
today is going to be a very special episode of Soul Sessions. And this whole series has been such a high flying ride for me. It's just part of the journey I'm on right now. It's my passion, it's my fever. And every time a show comes up, a guest comes up that's perfect for the show, and then the subjects just roll in. The questions come in from all of you in the chat, and hello and welcome and thank you for coming. And also the community page. So we've got a lot on our plate today, Susan.
Roll up our sleeves and get going.
Let me get a little business out of the way because for those of you who have not joined us with the Soul Sessions series, I want to go back to the first one, which was with Robert Brunjes, and we talked about the Akashic Records. Check that out. This whole series kind of flows. Next week came in with Medium Kim and talked about soul transitions, how the soul transitions from this physical body into the next realm. And then we came in with Ms. Linda G and talked about souls, how she reacts and hears and feels about souls on the other side. She's talked to very many souls and she knows her soul stuff. So check that one out as well. And now here we are with Susan Lynn. I am so excited to have you today. And as we were talking before the show, the energy is like, okay, I don't know about all y'all out there, but for me, 2023 has been like this. Oh, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. How about for you, Susan?
Not quite as his maybe not quite as crazy as yours, but definitely a different energy, right? An
Yeah.
unsettled energy. I think
Yes.
that we may all be feeling unsettled in one way or another, maybe in one part of our life or maybe in all parts of your lives.
Mm.
But it doesn't feel 2023 doesn't feel like a peaceful year to me. It feels like it's going to be very active.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to take just a tiny minute here and say hi to just a few people, and then I got a comment on that. Hi, Jasmine LP. Of course, Butterfly Kisses, Hypnicity, Samantha, Viviani, Seascape, who was here earlier, and I was telling her this is going to be a wild show. Glad you're here for the ride. Jamie Johnson, T Barb, Lisa Sandros, and Big Dog Mom. Hello from Colorado. Are you freezing like me, Big Dog Mom? Surrounded by snow. Okay, and Lorraine, hi, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us. I was just thinking the other day, or I guess I just got the download from it the other day of how important you are to us and how your expectations of the show and your vibrations in the show lift us up and help us connect tighter with the guides and the messages that need to come through. And that is a truth. So thank you so much. You are vital to us getting this information out.
That's so kind of you.
Oh gosh, I love them with the bottom of my heart. So I got to step back on this because I was explaining to you that I was going to do a show last Thursday and wasn't able to, and we'll talk about that some other time. But I had started to get downloads on 2023 from the guides. And the first word they gave to me was upheaval. And it's interesting because that later on, I saw you doing a show and you said the same thing. And what they showed me was, and it was interesting, it was a dual thing. It was the upheaval of, it was like something coming up from the earth and breaking the ground, right? This is what I saw, upheaval, right? And I'm like, wow, is that, the planet? And what I heard was it's the planet. And then I looked at the planet and it was also the nations. it was also, I could see the nations of the world, and there was upheaval. And then the next two words that came to me were reconciliation and rebirth. And I was like, okay, well, all right, that kind of seems like the scope of what we're looking at right now, and I really had to, with all of this political news, I really had to tune out of it and realize, and the feeling that I got was, how you've watched like The Walking Dead for 7 seasons, and pretty soon it's just like, you know what? This is nothing. This is so nothing. I just can't give it any more importance or interest in my life anymore. That's where I'm at with it right now. How about you, Susan?
Well, I am. I try to be. I really do try to be, because there's nothing that worrying about it is going to fix. There's
Right.
nothing that even knowing about it is going to fix. And the spirit guides told me yesterday that when I would go into these sort of, they call it doom scrolling, right? When you're
Yes.
just
Oh, we all
scrolling
been there,
through
girl.
the news, they said, it's akin to you sticking your head in a hornet's nest.
Yes.
Why would you want to do that? So yeah,
Mm.
I agree with you. And I think that, we've been through so much, right? We went through the
Yes.
pandemic, we went through Trump, we
Mhm.
went through the coup. Um, we really need healing. Honestly, what
We
we
do.
really need is to step out of the toxic yuck and start healing ourselves, so that when we go into this new age, this more peaceful, more equilibrium time,
Yes.
we're ready to be able to
Yes.
take advantage of that, and to be healthy and enjoy our lives.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Well said. And in numerology, this is a 7-year, and that is spirituality, y'all. So that is our
Good.
key. And think of it this way. We've been given everything we need to get where we are right now. All the messages from the guides, all this spiritual phenomenon that's happening in our community, that's developed and grown. Look at this, and this is where we are. So it's important to us to go forward, holding the light. That's our mission. That's why we're here. We signed up for it, and we were called for it. And I'm excited to be with you all today. Let's pop back in and see a couple people who have arrived. We've got Lisa Foster and Hypnicity. Oh, good, good. I got your question. Awesome. Okay. I have a couple of questions from the community page, but it's my show. My questions first. So I want to get into the discussion that we're here for today. We've been discussing souls. That's us, if y'all don't know it. We chose to come here. We are luminous, immortal beings. We've had many lives on this planet. We've learned and grown from each one. And each life has been designed to expand. Everything the Creator creates expands. And that's what we're here doing. So, in our journeys, we have lately been given the downloads and ability to know the activities of souls through certain things that have been given us, like these books, Destiny of Souls, Journey of Souls, Edgar Casey. I mean, we can go backward and forward in time. The messages were coming through, and it was trying to wake us up. Wake us up. This is who you really are. Now, in my journey with this, I have had such a joy and such a expansion of my being, understanding when I'm talking to someone like, well, this is a soul. I wonder how many lifetimes that person's been around. I wonder what they're here for. And it just changes your perception on everything, right? So, and yet in my journey, I've discovered some things that make me kind of scratch my head. What's this about? And it just gets, the more I scratch my head and the more I learn, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, one of these things I wanted to talk to you about today, Susan, are ghosts, spirits who choose some by their own volition to stay here, some who are perhaps, I don't want to say damaged, but inhibited in some way from finding their way. Others who perhaps choose to come here and hang out. and others perhaps who are entities doing a little tourism and checking out planet Earth. I threw it all at you once. How'd you like that?
That's
So
great.
these are the things that kind of make me scratch my head, and then later on we'll get to the big one. But let's talk about some of the ghosts that you've encountered. Um, you have such a connection, a quick connection with your guides. And I add, you're amazing, and you've also got that quick connection with being able to sense, feel, and what's the word I'm looking for? That essence of a soul in your area. Like when you went to New Orleans, and also when you went to, was it New Mexico? Yeah. Okay. Have at it.
Well, I would just say, first of all, I would say I'm not an expert, right? And this, whatever understanding that I have, I'll share with you guys. And I think as we are human and we're mortal, we're going to learn more things, and we're going to be, and as we ascend and as we, take this information in,
Yeah.
then we can understand things maybe on a completely new level and see it from a different angle. So whatever I share with you today is from the place where I'm at today. I would say that ghost, in my opinion, because you mentioned a lot of things there,
I
ghosts,
did.
in my
Sorry.
opinion, are souls, human souls that were alive on planet Earth and did not go to the light. They did not cross the veil. Instead, they've stayed here in basically in our 3D world, and they're earthbound. Now, you also mentioned some other entities, which aren't really ghosts. Once you cross the veil, so if you're talking about a life between lives, right? We have Brian Weiss, and we have the people that you mentioned, the Journey
Mhm.
of Souls. Michael
Mhm.
Newton wrote amazing books, case studies. This isn't fiction. This is real case
Right.
studies of people's lives between lives. And
Mhm.
it's brilliant to read. Now, those people do come to the earth and frankly, anywhere else they want to go, to have some R&R or to do some research or whatever they want to do. But going back to Ghost, in my experience, ghost or souls don't cross over for a few reasons. One would be that they're looking for somebody.
Yes.
They're, maybe they died on a battlefield, or maybe they died in a disaster, and they're looking for their kids, or they're looking for their wife, or whatever it is. They're looking for someone. That goes along with the fact that a lot of times ghosts don't think they're dead. You can literally argue with them, and they will. I've had ghosts tell me, just take me to the hospital. I'm fine. And I
Mhm.
gave up on one and just took her to the hospital. I mean, literally. I
Wow.
mean, I needed to get rid of her, and she was willing to go. And I'm like, well, she'll find somebody there. So they don't think they're dead. They're looking for somebody. Another thing, which was a little bit tragic, is that there's somebody on the other side they're afraid of. I crossed over a little boy or
Yes.
a young man, um, two of them at least, if not three different young people that didn't want to cross over because their parents were abusive, and they didn't want to see those people. They didn't want to go there. They were just happy staying right where they were.
Mhm.
Um, and in that case, what I do in all the cases is I ask for whoever has the most love in their heart for this soul, this ghost, to make themselves known to me.
Okay. So you get them involved.
And then it could be a friend. So one of these kids actually crossed over with a friend. Another one crossed over with a great aunt. Um, Another one crossed over with a mother who was estranged from the family. So there's that. And then, of course, another big reason is they don't want to go to hell. They've been religious, indoctrinized, and they believe that they're just not so sure. They're not so sure they're not going to go to hell. So they would rather not chance it.
Mhm.
Um, and then the last reason, there's some others, but the last thing is, because this really does happen, is spite, for lack of a better word, spite.
Right.
They don't want to cross over because they don't want they want to watch how their spouse what is their
Um,
spouse going to do is
ah,
they want to get involved in blocking the sale of the house, or they want to haunt the spouse because they don't want the spouse to move on. um, Lots of reasons like that.
interesting. So, our freedom of choice is eternal.
Yes.
It is. So it doesn't end when our uh, existence on this planet ends. We have that choice. That's very interesting. I do know what you're saying about the only ghost that I saw fully was looking for someone after a tragic event. It was interesting to me, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I kind of get the sense about it now that maybe you can pass on into the next realm. And yet at the same time, if you feel that need to come back, it
Mhm.
might be something that needs to be resolved and
Yeah.
then move back forward. I don't know why I just said that, but that's was just given to me. But I think it's fascinating that we have that freedom of choice at all time, and our freedom to decide what we experience in this lifetime and who we experience it with, and then after that, like when you mentioned that, like the last one, spite, we have that choice to go and love. And some hold on for a while. It's fascinating. And it's interesting also to know the direction that we take, though. And all of us out there and all of you out there in the chat, given the information that we have, what we can do to not only help perhaps one that's passed over and is lost or needs help, but maybe help people before they pass, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, be able to give them information from the guides or channel information to them that can help them in their lifetime right now. Cool.
Absolutely. And allow them to know that they're not going to be judged. You know what I mean? And that
Yes.
you're not going to go to hell. It's all about love and acceptance and healing,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. We are loved beyond measure. And that is the message. We are wrapped in love. And that's the other thing too. I think that I really felt led to try to communicate and be a vessel for that message of the fact that you're worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of the journey you're on and everything you want and everything you want to be, and even more. It's amazing what's going on. It just blows my mind. I watch too many Ancient Aliens, but the other night you ever done that? You like fall asleep watching something and then you wake up and go, "Oh my, this is fascinating." And I got till 2 a.m. But it was okay. I'm not trying to get his name. Michio, Dr. Michio, physicist. I'm really a nerd, so I really get into it. But he was talking about not only portals, but wormholes. And
Nice.
my mind just kind of went, okay, I'm just kind of dealing with this soul thing. And now we're going to expand it even more. But it does, what it gave to me was just this joyful, I almost felt like a child when I finished watching it. It was just like, this is just fantastic and wonderful. And aren't we lucky? And aren't we on an amazing journey? So I'm going to pop over to the chat and, oh, everybody's talking about, oh, Laura's talking about purgatory. I do believe. Do I want to show this? Let's see. Oh, let's talk about this. Let's
Yeah.
talk.
Let's talk about it.
I told the guides to have at it, and here we go.
Yeah.
Laura, they picked you out. This is Laura Fahey. Nice to be with you. I would have to say and ask y'all, is there a hell? Because I do believe in a purgatory. I've had a lot of near death experience watchers on YouTube that say they went to a world, they went to like this void of darkness. All
I
right.
can address this.
Yes, please do.
So I would suggest you might want to read a book by Eben Alexander, who's a neurosurgeon who had complete brain death. And from a scientific standpoint, he knew that his brain was not active, and yet his experience in his near-death experience was that he was in this muck, this mud, and it was gross, and it was just terrible. And as he was in a coma for a while, right? So, but as he stayed in this mucky stuff, this mud, yuck, he finally realized that he could get out of it, that he didn't need to stay in it, that he could get out of it. So the point is that you get what you think you're going to get. So when you cross over, if you think you're going to have purgatory, you're going to experience purgatory, because it's all about intention. Everything is about intention. You're not going to stay there.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay in purgatory, but you may experience something that is kind of similar to purgatory, or kind of similar to something that you're expecting. But then you come out of it. So yes, I think these near-death people did experience things that align with their own culture or their own religious, dogma, if you will.
Yes. And I'll add to this that's in my studies of these actual incidents that people did in their life regressions. They talked about. I've learned that it's customized, and I watch NDEs all the time. I'm fascinated with them. And what I've begun to see is that each one is customized to that soul at that particular time in their lifetimes, I'll add, right? And it's customized for them, specifically what needs to be I just see it like lightning. It's just like lightning that hits and gives them the message. And for some, it's just like, wow, I'm in the universe. I'm in the stars. This is beautiful. This is great. I don't ever want to leave. It's lovely. And then I've heard some very wise old soul say, I'm just in this void of darkness, and I feel the consciousness of the universe all around me. Is there anybody there? No, there's nobody here. It's just me. I'm just hanging out. Well, if you go in with a certain kind of energy and you end up in that certain kind of place, that's an opportunity for that soul to feel what's going on. And maybe if your energy is not there and you're resisting it, as Susan said, you're expecting something bad, that energy is going to be what comes out. It's and to put it in an earthly term, you get what you think about, right?
It's true. You get what you think about.
But Lord, that's a great question. And so many people think and talk about that, but it's customized for each person. NDEs are, some walk in a field of flowers. Some go to the spirit side and see giant learning facilities where souls are learning and growing. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Thanks for that question. And I hope you all got something out of that. Okay, guys, who we got next? Let's take another question. Okay, this is a good one. I like this one. There we go. Lisa. Now, I got this from the community page. Is this? Oh, wait. No, this is not. Lisa, I confused you with someone else. Sorry. Recently, within the last few weeks, as I was first waking up, I heard a male voice. And then another time, I saw a clear image. Who was sending me messages? Now, this will require a little tuning in. Susan, you ready? Who goes first?
Well, I was getting guide team. The male voice was a member of your guide team. that's, and I don't know if you remember the voice, but to me, the voice felt strong, masculine, a
Mhm.
little bit deep, but not like super deep, but powerful. And then the image that you saw, Lisa, it feels to me like they're waking you up. Like I get this sense they're trying to wake you up and let you realize you're clairvoyant. You saw an image, that's clairvoyant. You heard a voice, that's clairaudient. So they're just trying to gently wake you up. They're kind of describing it to me as like you've been asleep, or you know what I mean? And now it's time to wake up to these abilities. What do you get?
Well, it's interesting. At first, I got right away the feeling that she knows me. And then I got the guide feeling. And I was like, okay, so obviously she didn't know who you were as you spoke, and she doesn't know. And she's asking the question. And he said, I lived a former life with her, and
Nice.
now I am her guide.
Nice.
And she knows me, she feels me. And also I heard that's why she didn't feel fear. And I didn't hear you say that, but he's telling me that she didn't feel fear because she knows me, and we're very close, and I have chosen to be her guide in this lifetime. Ooh, just got chills
Nice.
on that one. Ooh,
Nice.
that's exciting, Lisa. All right. Well, there's lots of information from all kinds of mediums and guides on YouTube that can help you get closer to your guides. Let's see, I'm doing a show on Friday with Medium Kim. We'll talk about that later about guides. So
Perfect.
get some information about that and get into it because you're being contacted. That is for sure.
That is
Thank
for
you for
sure.
your question. Appreciate that. All right. I'm zipping along here. Okay, hang on just a second because I feel like I'm missing one that I had starred. Okay, here it is, hypnicity. I don't know. I screwed it up somehow, but I found it, so it was meant to be. My grandma had a stroke and was in a vegetative state for 5 years before she died in 1973. Did she know what was going on around her hospital bed? And her name was Lucille. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely she did. I mean, and I'm sure the Terry would say the same thing. So when we're in a coma, our consciousness doesn't stay in this body. Even if sometimes even if you have a fever and you're sort of in bed for 3 days, you know what I mean? Your consciousness is free to roam. But especially if you're in a coma, your consciousness is going to be up there, whatever that is for you, but with your family members, but also aware, looking down at your surroundings.
You know, interesting. Well, personal experience with this. Actually, twice personal experience with this.
Really?
My younger sister passed, and she was in a vegetative state for a while, and they were keeping her alive. And I was in the hospital with my mom, and holding her and being with her. And I took a break, and my daughter came in and took my place. And as I walked out the hall, I felt her. She was up in the corner. She was glowing, and she was just like wide-eyed. I didn't really see her physical appearance, but I could just tell she was just like wide-eyed up in the corner of the room. So I went in the bathroom. I'm like, wow, is that, oh, wow, is that you? And, just kind of said, I love you. And, and just kind of talked to her. And as I was coming back in the hallway, I passed my daughter and I go, she's not in there, right? And she goes, yeah, I know. She's right up there. And I just completely freaked out. It's like, you're right.
Oh my gosh.
What a validation was that? I'm getting
What a
chills just talking
validation.
about it. I'm getting chills just talking about it. It was such a validation for me and her. And then I'll move on. My mother just recently passed at 102.
Oh,
And
sorry.
well, she lived a glorious life. She really did. And she was a very religious, spiritual woman. She knew she was going home to be with God and Jesus. And there were mornings when I took care of her. I was lucky enough to be with her for the last 3 months of her life. And I took care of her. And she would get up in the mornings and look up at me from her walker and go, why am I still here?
I know that's common. Yeah.
And I said, Ma, you got to take that up with God. You got to work that out with him. Um, but as she got older, she had a fabulous 102nd birthday party in an amazing place with so many people that could come and be with her. And I secretly knew she held out for that party. I didn't mention it to her, and shortly after that, she began to decline. She was in my home, surrounded by her family for 3 days, and we played her music, and we spent time with her. She got to be with everyone. There was a time when it broke down, and then I went into the room to check on everybody else that was with her, and I heard her say, I'm not in there. And I said, yeah, I know.
Nice, Terry.
And
That's
she
awesome.
let me know that, there was no suffering, that she was, her body was just exiting the planet and she left in peace. So yes, absolutely. Your grandma, I mean, also, she could have been cruising around at that period of time, visiting all of you in your homes and doing things. So, it's an amazing thing, that transition. And I'm really happy for that question. I hope that gives you some peace. That's great. Okay. So let's go, because I have a banner that I did from a community page question, because I can't just put those up. So let's show this. Okay. Thank you, Jim Key. Woke up and saw a white glowing being to my left. He had a domed head like a helmet. He was sitting profile and I could not see his face. Another psychic said it was my higher, and then I ran out of space on the banner, higher self. So she's wanting to know, was that her higher self that she experienced, that white glowing being that she woke up and saw? And that's G. Kim. Thank you, G. Kim.
I feel like it was certainly a guide. I'm not sure it was her higher self, but I feel like it was certainly some sort of ancient guide or energy that could be construed as your higher self. I mean, but I might be wrong.
And I need to, I'm not, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to give you what I got. I didn't get that it was your higher self. But interestingly, I felt the same thing, that it was a guide, but this guide is like an interplanetary guide. And that's not just because of the domed head, but I felt like it was monitoring you and communicating with you, and maybe doing something with your psyche or your body at that point in time. Not anything dangerous, for sure. I don't feel anything dangerous about this. But I also thought, well, I wonder if that is her higher self, and she is that interplanetary, she could be a starseed. So I kind of got a little duality in there. I'm not sure if that last part's my mind just trying to reason with it. Help me out, Susan. But I don't think it's your higher self. That didn't occur to me at all.
It's just this very expansive energy. Like I'm picking up that intergalactic, that ancient,
Yes.
ancient energy. That doesn't match higher self energy. Higher self energy is different to me. But so that's what I would get. But it's still an amazing experience. I mean, maybe even a more amazing experience, to be honest with you.
Yes, and I don't feel any fear for you. So if you have any other instance like this, always remember you can say, and I just make it abbreviated at night, nothing but the love and the light, and then just surround yourself with that, and then and make yourself open. Yeah, there may be a message, or you may be just receiving a message. You may be just getting, if you get like little tingles in your scalp, or you feel tingling in your body, you're getting messages and downloads from your guides. I'm like you, Susan. I feel like when I get my higher self, it's like It's like the guides. It's like a beam of light, and yet the higher self vibrates closer to your soul. Yeah. Okay. Good. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I was right. This is going to be a great show because we got another great question. All right. I'm psychic. I knew it.
You
Okay.
are psychic.
I got this from the community page too, and I've just shortened it, but I will explain. Summer, obviously, is a reader. She says no matter what she does, she can't get trickster spirits out of her readings. And then she went on to say, I'm almost ready to give up. I just didn't have room on the banner to put that. So let's help Summer out. She's got some trickster spirits.
Summer, if you're here, well, it doesn't really matter, but I would like to clarify something because this is important.
Okay, let's go to the comments.
When we're reading for ourselves, it's so much easier for these trickster energies to come in. I find, now this isn't 100%, but I find that when I'm reading for other people, I have the assistance of their spirit guides, working with my spirit guides, that kind of elevates the energy and it kind of keeps the tricksters out more, maybe not 100%, but more than if it's just me. Because if it's just me, it's my ego and me trying to suss out what the messages are for me. And that is difficult because I've got all this scripts from my childhood, past life flavored energies combating me. I've got societal programs and all this blah, that my guides have to sort of get over, or I have to push my ego out. So now I will say this is the thing that I swear you guys are going to hear me talk about this a lot because I think this is it. I really do. I went through a really crazy time last year where I was struggling with some entities that were impacting my life. And I finally figured it out. I mean, I got out of it, which was the first thing. And then secondly, what I figured out is this. We give permission accidentally, implicitly, or explicitly. Yes. However we do it. You can give permission by simply not using your own abilities. And they'll give you the analogy of you're sitting in a really nice car, except for you're in the passenger seat, the engine's running, the driver's seat's open, and the door is open.
Yeah.
So this happens in our life. And as in your physical life, you're going to see a mirror in your spiritual life. So in your physical life, if you have trouble putting boundaries up, if you have trouble telling people no, then you're going to have the same issues in your metaphysical, your spiritual life. So a lot of us are waking up to our abilities and we're not really we don't really know. Maybe we just don't know what to do, but we end up giving away our energy to these energy vampires. Now, here's what you can do. In any case, it doesn't matter. The first thing you want to do is revoke permissions. And this is the thing that I'm going to talk about probably every time I get on a video for the rest of my life, because as we have the thinning of the veil, we're going to have all kinds of entities coming over to mingle with us in ways that we never had before. Mm-hmm. That means aliens, ETs, souls, who knows what things we don't even know about yet are going to come over, have easier access to humans. Mm-hmm. So we have to A, stand in our power. B, we have to throw up boundaries. And C, on occasion, you may have to just say, I'm revoking any permission that I gave either knowingly or unknowingly to any entity or energy or anybody. And I'm just going to say anybody, physical, human, soul, non-human, doesn't matter, that doesn't have my highest good in their intentions or in their soul. So it is. You guys, if you start revoking permissions and your life goes haywire, that means that you have had some energy vampires taking advantage of you, and now they're upset.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean? Maybe you have more bad dreams, or maybe things start kind of rambling and rattling around your house or whatever. They're just trying to scare you a little bit. They have no control over you. We are sovereign human beings. We have complete control of us, but we've been led to believe that we don't.
Yeah.
So that can
Absolutely.
solve a lot of problems right there. Because once you do that, even though it might kick it up a little bit, when they realize that you're not going to back down, they'll go to some other person.
Absolutely. Well said. And might I add, just excuse me, the solid ground of that is you are an immortal, powerful being. You are not a victim, and you do get what you think about. So if you are starting to do a reading, or if you're starting to get a feeling something's trying to talk to you and you think, oh my God, is this a trickster? Who is this? Or you start to go in that direction, that's the direction you're going to go. But what you want to do is stand your ground, surround yourself with the love and light. And Susan gave me a great tip, and it worked for me because I had just a negative energy in my house, and it came from someone in my neighborhood. We won't discuss that, but it just kept hovering around in my house. And she was like, make noise.
Yeah.
So I got a pan. First, I did the saging. I did that, and that felt really great. And then I got a pan, and I just said, you cannot be here. You must leave immediately now. I do not want you back ever again. You cannot disturb my peace. And boom, it was gone. It was gone. And I've used subtler, littler things. And I've had readings where I'm doing a personal reading for someone, and someone comes in and we can't validate it. And I'm just like, okay, excuse me. All right, you step aside. You're not allowed in this reading. You're not allowed in my space. You don't want to build up that energy. Remember, we're all energy, and the energy we create goes out, and it makes things happen. So keep that peace inside your heart and know who you are. Practice saying who you are every morning. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm a blessed soul on this planet, and I'm here to deliver messages and be a blessing to other people, and nothing is going to stop me. There you go. Done.
I just want to add one thing that came in while they were reminding me this. This is truly because this happened to me, Summer, but not with my readings, but with me personally. It gets to the point where you don't even want to meditate, because when you meditate, the trickster energies are in your meditative space. They're there, and you don't want to deal with that. So then you stop. These entities are doing this to us because they don't want us to do the work. They don't want us to spread the light. They don't want us to meditate. They don't want us to connect to the divine. So if they can trickster us and kind of just make our lives kind of a little bit, not so good, then we're like, I don't want to do that. That was crazy. I had too many crazy energies. That's what they want. So listen to what Terry said, and don't let them win. Simply pull back from the energy, ground yourself. Summer, for you specifically, you're going to have to ground more.
Yeah.
So before you do your work, whatever that is, I want you to see those roots going down into the earth and gripping a hold like tree roots into Mother Earth. I want you to get really good and grounded. Mm-hmm. From there, they're telling me you're going to get sustenance and energy from Mother Earth. And that's what you need to stand tall like a tree. And then from there, you can reach out into the sky.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm getting rose quartz just now. I got that message.
There you
I have
go.
rose quartz in front of my keyboard here. And that was the message. Just tell her rose quartz. Ground with that in your hand. Know that that is connecting you to Mother Earth, to Gaia, who is a live, sentient being herself. And she will help you with this. All right.
Yes.
Summer, I got good feelings for you. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, it's going to be all right. And hello to Ron and Kevin, the healing medium, and a lot of new people have come in. Denise and a lot of Mary. A lot of people have come in. I just wanted to make sure I said hey to our fellow readers as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that, Susan. And I did see them coming through. We've got so many great questions. I'm just going to roll on to another one. Are you
Let's
ready?
roll. Let's
All
roll,
right.
girl.
This is the New Year gift. We got lots of questions about this stuff. I'm glad to see it. You're seeking. This is exciting. We all want to know. Let's find out. All right. Annette Lewis. Hi, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you, Annette, from the bottom of my heart. Is there a timeline before it's too late to cross over? Does my spirit guide hear when I talk to him or her? And what is their name? Oh, all right. That's a few questions there.
Is there a timeline before it's too late to cross over? I don't understand that question.
I'm guessing what I'm getting from it is like, are you saying, and maybe I'll look at, and hopefully I can catch you in the live chat here, but are you saying that if you linger, if your soul lingers and you don't immediately go up into the light, is there a time frame that you can like hang out? Is that, I think that's what you're saying. Maybe
that you made sense of that. Awesome. Okay, I wasn't getting that at all. Yeah, no, there's no timeline, honey. You could be here for 1,000 years, and if it's time, if you hook up with the right person, you can cross over. Now, the thing that's fascinating to me about crossing ghost over is that for some reason a human has to be involved, even if it's let's just say this ghost is at the church. Sometimes they hang out at churches, and there's a funeral and there's a light. There's still humans there, right? So for some reason, we need to be involved in some degree. But yeah, there's no timeline. You could be here for 5 years, 5 months, or 50 years. I've crossed ghost over that have been here well over 100 years.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not, it's not the same time. This is fascinating too. Time doesn't exist for them like that, right? So the ghost that had been here for over 100 years, you know how he ended up counting time was not like birthdays or Easters or Christmases or anything like that. He counted time by technology.
Oh, wow.
He said, so, there was horses, and then there was electricity, and then there was cars, and then there was these phones, and then there was pagers, and then, so he gave me kind of a list of all these weird technologies that he would notice. To him, that was so bigger spans of time, right? 20 years, 30 years spans of time instead of just yearly spans of time.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. It really is. And I know in my studies, when I first started reading about souls who stayed here, refused to cross over of their own volition, I thought, well, what would that consist of other than just wanting to be close to someone or not having something resolved? And then it started to make sense to me. Okay, well, maybe it's still trying to control, have that some sense of control over that earthly existence that you just had. Maybe something needed to be wrapped up, something wasn't answered, something wasn't controlled, but you do go to the light. And I do believe, listening to a lot of these NDEs, it all comes in like I said, it's customized. I know that's such a weird way to talk about it, but it seems to be customized for those who need to have validation. They might float around. And one woman said, oh, I saw my husband, who is like a complete utter nut vegetarian and foodie, go to the relaxing room and have a candy bar, and he's passed it around. And that's what she got to see. And then she kind of went on to the light and got to talk to her guides. And I was like, that's so fascinating, because that was just the validation that she needs to have. And then, of course, later, after she came back to life, she was like to her husband, hey, I saw you go get that candy bar. Can you imagine his shock? I mean, what a validation for him. So fascinating stuff. Fascinating. I love it. And that's a great question. And yes, your spirit guides hear you when you talk out loud, in your mind, in your heart, in your dreams. They're awesome. That's the only way I can put it. They're so close to you, and they're so committed to you, and they're so connected to you to get you through, to help you have the best possible outcome for your life and help you make choices. Gets me excited. I love my guides. I know you do too, Susan.
I do too. I do too.
Even though they're sassy. Sassy. Sassy Guides. Okay, we are getting close to the hour. Let's get another one in.
Power it up.
We are. We're just on fire. Fire today. Rosemary, why, when I was first divorced and alone, for the first time when my boys were with my ex, did I hear voices downstairs like there was a party going on? Ah, yep.
Have you experienced that, Terry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it was at the beginning when things first started opening up for me, and I'd lay my head on the pillow at night and I'd hear this. I'm like, what the, and I would open the window. It's not outside. TV's not on. Cell phone's off. Right? Headphones are off. What the? And then I finally realized I'm hearing things going on the other side. It finally dawned to me. And then eventually some of them eventually came through and made sense and actually talk to me. I've had that happen in my dreams. I've been dreaming something and something came in my dream. Like someone was like, well, I'll tell you what it was. It was Deborah Katz. I had a dream and all of a sudden I heard this Deborah Katz remote viewing in my dream. I'm like, okay. And I kind of went back to sleep. Deborah Katz remote viewing. I don't know who's this.
Wow.
Woke up, wrote it down. Googled her. There was only one Deborah that was a remote viewer. Oh, and I didn't get the last name properly either. So I just did Deborah, remote viewer, and I got her. And then that was the first book I got that said, "You are psychic." And it just took me right down the train. Is that weird or what?
That is awesome.
Voices.
That is awesome.
Tell us about your voices.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, in my case, I would hear music. And I thought it was coming from my bathroom. And I'm like, did I leave the phone in the bathroom and something is playing? But when you really think about it, rationally, you realize it's different. You know what I mean? It's not really like you're hearing it. You're hearing it in a different way.
Yes, you're right.
And so that is clairaudience. That's psychic hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the most common of the psychic clairs, but so it's not a normal way that you receive information. It's like Terry said, like sometimes it comes in that way, but on the daily, we don't use it typically on the daily. It's just it's almost like the radio station analogy. You're driving your car, you're listening to the radio, and all of a sudden another radio station comes over on top of it. The frequency, connects or disconnects or whatever. So you're connected to your guides and they're like, oh, okay, this frequency is available. Let me connect to her via this way.
I just got a picture of the old fashioned operator. Let me connect you. Put the cord into the hole.
Let's see which is open. Clairvoyance? No. Claircognizance? No. Oh, she's got clairaudience. Stick in that one. Yeah.
I think that's really true, especially I just have to interject this. When I read, a soul will come through and I can tell they're trying to tell. It's like they'll start a little of this and a little of that, and then they'll know I have clairaudience and I'll be like, Belle, my name is Belle. And you're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then you can even tell what their voices sound, like you can say, hey, he's got like an accent, or he's got a heavy, deep voice, or, you can actually hear all that.
So Rosemary, exciting news for you. What happened, I believe, is your boys weren't distracting you. And as we know, life it distracts us, right? Your boys weren't distracting you and you are having, I don't know. I'm getting a vision of like a gate. It's like a gate opens. A gate is opened for you. You're being invited to experience an expanded life. I would encourage you to look into that, not be afraid of it, be calm with it, and have fun with it. What do you say, Susan?
Yeah. And she says in the chat, she asked it to go away.
She wants it to go away? Well,
that's okay.
If
you can always change your mind.
Yeah.
You can always ask him to come back. It's not a problem.
I don't feel anything at all. And I guarantee you this, there's nothing threatening about this. I don't feel it. We would feel it if it was.
But it is disconcerting.
It is.
When you're hearing things and you're not sure. I mean, it gets to the point where I walk around the house before I realize that it's not physical. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait a minute. And I've done that on videos. I'm like, do y'all hear that music? You know,
Yeah.
we don't hear it, Susan. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and Rosemary, it may not advance that fast for you either. I mean, we're talking about, we've been into this in the deep here. So it went kind of cascaded. But let me tell you, it's a joyous journey and it's nothing to be afraid of. And as we said, you can always protect yourself and you can always just say, and I still do it sometimes, I'm going to sleep. I need to
Yeah.
sleep tonight. I really can't get a download right now. Sorry. Check me later.
It's
Right?
boundaries. It's
Yeah.
true. It's boundaries. Yes, absolutely.
But what a joyous journey we're on. It is great. All right. Well, now, okay, let's see. Uh, so, Joan B., I'm just going to pop this up because she has a comment on it. I hear random names when I'm tired. No info, just a name or two sometimes. That's the same kind of thing. Look pretty common. It's interesting sometimes when I close my eyes, when I'm first just drifting into sleep, I start to get faces. It's like old faces, new faces, faces I've never seen, faces from a dream. I mean, it's really weird, isn't it? And they just, they kind of come and then they go and they fade away. When we're in that state, I'm trying to think of is it the alpha state? Is that what it is?
One of the brainwave
Either right
states.
before you go to sleep or right when you wake up, you're in that gentle, soft state where you can experience and feel these things. And maybe it's not a major message for your life. Maybe it's just your soul saying, "Hey, things are happening. You're surrounded by all these blessed beings that are caring for you and helping you through this life, and we just want you to know there's other things going on. Check it out."
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, okay. Cool. I got another update. Let me have it. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. She started, I think she mentioned that, Joan, she mentioned, there we go. Got it. Started writing the names down. The last one was Saranac something. I remember it because it's a town also. There you go.
I'm glad you're
be.
writing them down.
Mm-hmm.
And because it can make sense. Like sometimes this stuff just makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And their timing is not our timing. So right now it doesn't make sense, but in a month or 2 months, it may make sense. And you can go back and look at what you wrote down and you can see it. It'll make a lot more sense.
That could be an introduction of a guide too.
It could be
My
the
first guide's
introduction of
name
a
was
guide.
Marcia, and she told me that, and I'm like, Marcia?
I know mine is
First thing I
Sam.
thought of was
I'm
the
like,
Brady Bunch.
Sam?
Marcia. My
We have
guide's name is
something else?
Marcia. And
Yeah.
then she said, no, yes, she had an existence on this planet. She had an incarnation on this planet. Her name was Marcia. She chose to use that and chose to be my guide. And she's been very dear to me.
Oh,
And she kind of comes and goes. That's
yeah.
another thing. They kind of come and go, and a new one will come in. And then, you can ask for a name and watch for your signs and really enjoy their company. That's cool. All right, you guys. Well, we're coming up on an hour. How are you feeling, Susan? This has been like, wow.
A whirlwind.
Yeah, it was kind of like a bullet train. Bullet train. Got on the bullet train. Okay. Well, let's see. Do you have any message for us to wrap this up, Susan? Do you have anything your guides want to say to just kind of cement this whole thing that we just went through?
In general, hold the light and hold the line. That's what they want to say is hold the light. Try not to get wrapped up too much in the everyday, the roller coaster of the energy. This whole year, I think, is going to be a lot of ups and downs.
It is.
And if we go up and down with all this energy, we're just going to be exhausted and worn out, and we're not going to be happy. So make sure that you build in some insulation between you and the outside world that's crazy. And what that insulation is self-care, right? It's hobbies, it's classes, it's community, it's friends. Giving back to yourself, tapping into your joy, tapping into the source of your joy, even if it's something very simple like a walk, whatever. It doesn't have to be expensive, right? But yeah, that's what they.
I love that. That's kind of what they're giving me to say at the end of the show today is, and I'll say it at the end again. but you are enveloped in love. You are enveloped in love, and we are surrounded right now by a lot of chaos from the planet. Oh, we're having an X-class solar flare right now. Did I fail to mention that?
You did.
So the universe, the planet, there's so many things happening all at once. It's because we're all connected. We are connected to the universe. We are connected to the planet. So we sense things that are going on there. And then, of course, we're surrounded with our lovely, media and people that want to talk bad and people that want to cause fear and bad vibrations and thought factors that can pull us away from our true self. So take those moments to enjoy it. I'm going to give you the guides are telling me to tell you about this. So I just went through some stuff, and the other morning I got up and I was like, okay. And I did my, I'm so thankful to be on this planet. I'm thankful to be on this journey. How exciting, how fascinating. I'm not bored at all. And, and then I got this feeling of give yourself comfort. So we were having a blizzard outside. I have a little pup. He's 4 months old, and my beautiful other golden retriever. And I got extra blankets on the bed, and I crawled into bed with a bowl of granola, and I topped it off with blueberries, which my puppy happens to love. And I played some beautiful music, and I just ate the granola and fed my puppy blueberries, and realized this is what you need to come back to reset. You've got to have that comfort for yourself. That wrap yourself in love for yourself, because you're worthy. Not only are you worthy of the love of the universe, but love from yourself and support from yourself. So let's all support each other. We're gonna be around. So you can get a reading with Susan, and I'm putting up her banner here so that you can see where to contact Susan. She's an amazing reader. Of course, you all know that. And she's so encouraging to me and such a blessing to me. You can also get a reading from me, and I do love giving readings. It's my great joy. And also you can connect with other members of the community here. I love to see you interacting in the chat, giving each other support, and the other readers who come and join us and give comments. This is all a blessed thing. We're very, very, very blessed and lucky. And what a time to be alive on the planet. We're a part of something big, folks. So I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Susan, quickly, before we go, what do you have coming up next?
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's what I got. Holy and moly.
I'm starting a class. I'm starting a class in a week on Endeavor Your Psychic Senses. But what I'm kind of excited about right now is Way Out Wednesdays, which is a new series that I'm doing. And this Wednesday actually talks about some of the things that we talked about today. And one of the things that I'm covering is Ouija boards, ghost busting apps for your phone, and also spirit photography.
Oh,
So
I'll have to tune
fun.
into that.
It's pretty fun.
I've actually had orbs before in my photography. That's an amazing thing.
But this is actually scrying.
Oh.
So you scry, and then you use your cell phone to photograph the spirits that come out. It's fascinating. And I did a whole video about it 2 years ago, and you could find it on my YouTube channel. Take photos of spirit with your phone or something like that. And I go through the whole setup. The everything is described. And what's fascinating is that when you get the picture of the spirit, it's 3-dimensional. It's almost as if it's coming out. Like you can see the nose. And then you can see the eye, like half of the face is out. And the people that do this on the regular call in their relatives, and they have pictures of their relatives, and then they have a picture of their scried photo, and it's the same. So, but in this Way Out Wednesday, I was talking about it because those pictures that you guys see in your eyes before you go to sleep, how the guides explained it is that imagine that we're on the astral plane, and there's a nice, beautiful astral plane town, and these entities are just walking down the astral plane sidewalk, and there's a door that's open. That door happens to be you.
And they're just peeking in.
That's your energy portal. And they're like, oh, let's see what's in here. The door's open. So these people, these entities that you don't know from Adam, come into your awareness. And that's what you're seeing when you go to sleep. but it's also what I started photographing. The first thing I photographed was my spirit guide. The second thing I photographed was my dog. And then after that, things got kind of odd.
I'm going to be there, girl. Wouldn't miss that for anything in the world. And might I add, Susan has a fantastic Patreon channel that you can join and get private readings and classes and all of her latest updates. I can't wait. That sounds really good. I've got a show tomorrow. I'll be on Allie, Heart and Soul Connected's channel tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, 2 Pacific. We're going to be talking more about souls. We're going to be talking about past lives, past life regression, that kind of stuff. Who knows where it's going to go? Like today, I'm just cutting it loose when I'm on these shows or when I'm doing my own and saying, all right, guys, what you got? And I'm just so delighted to be able to do that. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be doing my first beginning of the year, a little late, but beginning of the year live reading. So I'll be doing live readings for everyone in the chat. We're going to keep it wide open and we're going to see what happens with that. And that's Thursday. That's Thursday, 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 3 Mountain, 2 Pacific. Flying solo. All right. And then Friday, that's a big week. I'm going to be on Kim Copeland's channel. And I'm going to be her guest, and we're going to be talking about guides. We're going to talk about contacting our guides, working with guides. And I've got some just really interesting experiences lately in working with guides in ways I hadn't before. So that's going to be an exciting show too.
Fascinating. Is all this listed someplace where you need like a
my community page? Come on over. Come on, subscribe, like, and get on that community page. And please comment and give me ideas. Oh, and I got to throw this in because I want to do my next soul session on NDEs. So I thought about researching and reaching out, and then I thought, I'm going to throw it out. I'm going to throw it out to all my peeps. If you know someone that's had an NDE that would be willing to come on my channel and talk about it, if you've had an NDE, a near-death experience, you want to come on my channel and talk about it, I am at purevisionary@gmail.com. Let's talk, because I think this is the next step that we need to take in this soul session series. So, Susan.
I love it, girl. I love the content you're bringing. How fascinating. It's just wonderful.
Thank you. I'm enjoying the ride immensely.
You're really helping people. Thank you so much.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. That means so much to me, Susan. And likewise, I'm sure. And as if you don't know, Susan was my teacher. So blessings to you, Susan, because what a gift. What a gift you've given me.
You're my teacher. We're all each other's teachers.
Hang on, everybody. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Hard to say goodbye, but got to say it. And I have to say what I end every show with, because the guides told me this is the message you need to know. You are loved beyond measure. Bye, everybody. Happy trails and have a wonderful evening.